Hello, welcome to the land of Kekiak. My name is Laurel. Today's video is a little bit different. It's on my monthly budgeting, but I thought, I usually do homeschool stuff, but I just thought we all need a budget. And the homeschool, to be able to stay home, I need, with my kids and not have a full-time income, I need to be on a budget. So I was like, I bet you guys are on budgets too. If you don't need to budget, God bless you, I'm happy for you. But for those of us that do, let's get our planners out or a notebook or something. And if you have never started a budget, you can watch this video for just to see how I'm doing it. But I get all of my, direction from Dave Ramsey. That's like what he's known for is his getting out of debt and making a budget and then building wealth. You need to make a budget first, then get out of debt, then build your wealth, right? So it's kind of embarrassing. We've gotten out of debt completely twice in our life, and then we've gotten ourselves back into debt. So I'm not one to give financial advice. I'm just a human being working the baby steps again. I'll just walk you through what I am up to today for it's in May 2024. I think we've all been impacted by the increases in cost of living over the last few years. Okay, so what I already did off camera, and I haven't done a budget in quite a while, so I need to get my act together. I budgeted for small things, but not, I was I need to do an overall comprehensive. We need to start going back to our cash envelope system and stop putting things on debit and credit. It's just a mess. I'll link to Dave Ramsey's YouTube in the description box so you can check him out more. So what I already did is, he says when you start a budget, I think to pull three of your last statements, like your credit cards and your debit and whatever, and audit them. And I already did that. I just took highlighters and I, color coded, blue was gas, pink was eating out, green was grocery store. I actually didn't account for a bunch of stuff that I know was just frivolous spending. It's stuff that wasn't going to be recurring, because when you want to get out of debt, you're going to cut all that extra spending out, right? The reason I did want to take a look at what we had spent on eating out is because it's mostly my husband. He drives every day. He's going places for work, so he's just been grabbing food on the road a lot. And I wanted to see how much that was actually totaling up to. It was a lot, you guys. It was $600, just so you know. Between stopping at the gas station and getting drinks and snacks and then fast food. It was $600 in 1 month. That's crazy, right? If you need to get a budget, if you need to get out of debt, absolutely no convenience store snacks and fast food. Plus, it's horrible for you. But that's just, okay, I'll stop being your mom. Okay. So I audited that, got an idea of what we were spending on line items that would be, every month expenses. And then, of course, I double checked for any types of subscriptions I wanted to cancel. But as I was going through and I was seeing those auto, withdrawals, I was just canceling them just right away. So I did that. Then I dragged my husband into my desk to have a budget meeting. I know that's so hard. For us, it's really difficult to, you have one partner that wants to budget and one who does not. Dave would call me the nerd and my husband the free spirit, right? You have to make it happen. I don't care if you have to make him cookies and milk and lure him into an area where you have hidden your statements and budget papers. And then just start talking to him while he's having his snack, he'll be like, just thinking you're talking. You're really like getting him to agree to how much you're going to spend on gas and groceries. Okay, so I audited my statement. I really only did 1 month because it was such a, we had spent so much last month. It took so long to go through it, and I was just like, I can't do this 2 more times. But what I'll do is I'll probably just do it every month going forward. At the end of this month, I'll pull my statement and just double check everything. Do that again and see how everything's looking because what I'm trying to get rid of is it should be, when you go to the cash envelope system, there's no extra, like you don't have to total up all of your grocery charges and all of your gas charges and all of your clothing charges. Like when you go to a cash envelope system, all that's going to be coming out of there is the stuff that you have to pay. Like I have to pay my mortgage, with my checking account, and there's a couple bills that are automated, or a couple bills I have to go online to pay. So that stuff comes out of there, and so it becomes very easy to just verify that everything's been paid at the end of the month, everything came out, nothing overdrew, that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna write out some stuff here. I'm gonna start out, now that I've done my audit and I have a base idea of what we've been spending on stuff, I'm going to write out I always call these my hard costs, right? This is bills, payments, and auto drafts. And I'm probably going to add on like my cash envelopes in here just for the sake of seeing everything together. So I'm going to give you guys my real numbers, like what we're actually spending on stuff. I'm actually going to give you like my husband's salary, because that's what I'm going to base my budget on. And anything extra outside of his base salary, like if he gets commissions, or sometimes he picks up a little extra side job, like he also can like fix cars and stuff. So sometimes he'll pick up a little money here and there. He'll like do someone's brakes, or he'll like paint someone's car for them and stuff like that. And then of course I make a little bit of money on Etsy, and all that stuff will help. But I'll explain kind of what my thinking is on that when we get to it. Our reoccurring charges are, so on the first, I have that IXL. I've been talking about this as a website that Everett's been using to do his math on there. It's $10.65 a month. That is a family plan. Okay, this is a debt repayment, and I actually just consolidated all of our consumer debt, and this is not financial advice, but got a HELOC and took out a second mortgage to pay it off so we could get that lower interest rate, because it is the interest rate on the credit card debt that is just absolutely killing us. All right, then also on the first, I have my mortgage. Oh yeah, my debt repayment is $688.89. That's the payment I need to make every month. See, if my husband just stops eating fast food and snacks every month, we can almost completely pay that with that money. Okay, so my mortgage is $1464.64, and I pay that manually. I need to keep track of how I pay stuff so that I kind of know what automatically comes out and what I go in and pay. Compassion International is due at the beginning of the month for $50. That is a charity, and that comes out auto checking. I'm gonna include my charity and my tithing that we do every month in here. It's not a lot, I was really thinking I was like, gosh, you're getting out of debt. You're supposed to cut out everything, And I was like, I don't want to cut out like my charity and tithing. I was like, is this a test? But I was tempted to, and I was like, is this a test of my faith? I talked to my husband about it, and he was just like, just let it ride, just see what happens. And I was like, God's always like provided. Like it always ended up that the money, when it came due, was there to pay it. So he's like, let's just keep it on there for now, and we'll just see like how it goes. I was like, okay. This is my gas bill. It's like anyway from $50 to $150 depending on what time of the year it is, and I pay that manually. I always like when people give their real numbers. I'm like, I hate when people are like, well, we'll just do, this is how you do it. I'm like, give me the numbers, lady. I want to know the real numbers. I like to see how the cost of living, like what people are spending on groceries around the country, and like things like utilities can be really different based off of where you live, and mortgages are going to be really revealing about the housing market where people are from. I think it's interesting. Okay, Apple. This is the data. I always need more data. I do everything on my iPhone. Like all my videos, I just shoot everything on my iPhone, like everything. All my pictures. We have like a nicer camera. It's funny, so like I tried using it because we had like a nice Canon kind of camera that we used to take our own family portraits and stuff. Which reminds me, we need to do that. I put it on the tripod. We got it all set up to do. Like if you look back at my very earliest videos, I literally look different. And it's because that's what I actually look like. Yeah, on the other camera, because the iPhones, and they're like very close to you, it like distorts your face and stuff a little bit. It makes things look like things in the center come forward. You know what I mean? I always am like, yeah, my eyes and my nose are not as big as in my face. It looks a little slightly flatter than it looks on my like iPhone. Not that it matters. I just like noticed it, but I couldn't use that camera to shoot videos anymore because it kept turning off after like and it wouldn't give me like every 10 minutes or something. It would just turn off. It would stop videoing, and I make longer than 10-minute videos. Anyways, that was just a random side story. Okay, Simply Safe. This is our alarm system for the house. $29.99. That is due it comes out around the 7th. Oh, and these sheets I'm showing you, this is out of my planner. You usually see me using my planner, like, my binder planner I always use, I love. But there are I made budgeting sheets for it. I'll link that planner for you in the description box if you want to look at it. But I've been using it for years. After Simply Safe, we have Cricket. Cricket is obviously our cell phones, and that's $90 for 3 lines, and that is auto checking. Like one thing we did do a long time ago was try to like take like no automatic charges on the credit card. They all have to be on our debit. Because at one time, I remember we tried putting them on our credit card because we got like, I don't know, 1%, 2%, 3%, depending on what it was, cash back at the end of the month for using that card. But Dave is right. Dave talks about this. This is all a scam. People, they know that this doesn't work out. You don't see the charges over there, so you spend the money out of your checking and then you can't pay them. It's not a good idea. Just forget it. It's a scam to get you to use it because they know more often than not people get into debt that way, and then they start getting their interest payments, which is where they make the majority of their money, right? Put all your auto stuff out of checking. Again, I'm not giving advice as I tell you what to do. That's just the way I talk. I can't get the teacherly way of speaking out of me, can I? Okay, auto checking. Okay, Cricket. I'm kind of just filling in some dates now. So on the 14th, okay, our city, that's our water and garbage. That's anywhere from 50 to 150. That's manual. It's actually due on the 1st, but I have all the way until the 14th. They give you 2 weeks to pay it before you get a late fee or whatever. And they come, because this happened to me, right out and turn off. They give you no notice. I think, and I looked it up, in South Carolina, it's like one of only 2 states in the union that doesn't require that the utility companies give you any notice. Okay, so tithing, my tithe is $100 a month. And then our internet comes out on the 18th, $78.94. That's auto. Okay, Canva. I do need that account. I need the pro account. It is $14.99 a month. Duke Energy is anywhere from $100 to like $300 about, and I have to pay that manually. And then my auto insurance, it's $161.21. Auto checking. Okay, So these are just our hard costs, not our flexible costs. Or our soft costs are things that can vary, things like grocery bills, household items, fun money. I don't know. I like when I get my hair done, I make an envelope to pay my hairdresser, a cash envelope, so all that stuff. And if you don't have the money for it, you can't get your hair done. You're like at home looking up YouTube tutorials, trimming it yourself. But okay, so what my husband and I did discuss is fun money, gas money, groceries, and household items for right now. And then I can always like start piecing that out over the months if I want to make it like more and more specific. But it's even Dave says it's normal, like you start out more general and vague and broad, and over like a couple months you like, usually about 3 months, you really hone in and get your budget really exact and tight. This is when you're trying to get out of debt, right? When it's really, really important, you're counting every penny. But before I put on those soft items, I am going to talk about our paycheck and how we get paid and like when we get paid. So in my planner, I have also this page, which is our paycheck schedule. We get paid. So I am basing our whole budget just off of, like I said, like my husband's paycheck, his salary, because that's the minimum that we expect to come in. And that's going to make me have the tightest budget. So then anything on top of that is just going to go straight to our debt snowball. So since all of our debt is consolidated in one payment, right? I will just be putting, once we get our like savings goals, right? Our like emergency fund set up, it just goes to paying down the debt faster, which is like such a good feeling when you can make a big debt, like a big extra payment to principal. Feels amazing. Okay, so I'm just going to write our source and our paycheck number. Okay, that's right, because we split them up. We get paid every other Friday. So I'm just looking at my computer right now for the calendar. I know that our next paychecks are for my my husband's. I'll just say Jesse. That's the source. And this will be paid. The one I'm waiting on is actually considered paycheck. Which am I waiting on? One that's coming through on the 10th. It's actually paycheck. Oh yeah, paycheck 2. And that is coming this Friday. So 5/10, right, 24. And he will get his salary after taxes and insurance is $23.20. And that is for the month of May. The next paycheck he gets 2 weeks later is actually paycheck, I call this paycheck 1. And it's coming on the 24th for the same amount. And that is actually for the month of June. I need to be able to pay, I like pay my mortgage, all my big bills if I wait until my first paycheck of June, sometimes then there wouldn't be money there for some of the things are going to like auto draft and stuff. So I always just make our first paycheck actually the paycheck. I'd rather pay some things early so that there's money there for the auto drafts. Do you know what I mean? And it gets a little bit tricky about the pay periods. It's not tricky once you figure it out, but I'm going to show you how I figure it out. Just stay tuned. Okay, so then I'm just going to write down a few months. So we go May 24th, then we're going to go June 7, and then we're going to go June 21. So that's at least through this year. So I'll just stop for this year right now. So now I'm going to go through and designate like what paycheck numbers they are. So that would be, so for May, I've got paycheck number 2420. Okay, May 24th is our first. So actually, June 7th is technically paycheck 2 for June. Paycheck 1 for July. So there's typically 2 paychecks a month, but you know how it is. Every once in a while, you get 3 paychecks in a month when you get paid this way. So that's paycheck 1. This is paycheck 2 for July, and here it is. Here's actually a paycheck 3. This one comes out 8/2, which is pretty close. It's close enough to 8/1 for me. I'm just gonna call it paycheck 3. And I put a little star next to it, just to remind myself. So I'm just leaving this amount for May and June, just for the sake of budgeting right now, but pray for us, you guys. This is May. This is when my husband has his yearly, it's like his anniversary for work, and they do his review, and if he does get any raises, it would be now. So I don't know if he's up for any raises, since he's able to make commissions. So I don't know, which he wasn't before. So I don't know if they give raises for salary employees that also can make commissions. But before, when he was, hourly, he would typically get a small raise at this time. But I don't know this new kind of structure they have him under, what it's going to be. After his review, if there's been no increase, then I will just continue to use the 23/20. Okay, so this is always helpful to me while I'm doing my planning. All right, so let's go back to our bills and payments. So you can see by how paychecks fall, which bills are gonna need to come out of paycheck 1 or paycheck 2, right? So typically what happens, because I do back up and I start paycheck 1 for the next month somewhere around here, usually when he's getting paid. So I'm just gonna go like this, right? This is part of actually paycheck 1 for a month. And so are these bills up here. Okay. So I'll make myself a little key. All right, this is paycheck 1. So then all of this stuff that falls in this time frame has to get paid out of paycheck 2. Okay, then those are hard costs. I put hard costs. Soft costs. So our cash envelopes, right, are gonna be. We budgeted. So I was spending, when I looked at all our expenses last month at grocery stores alone. I know groceries cover a lot of stuff. They cover, food. They also cover toiletries. I know random house. I've got to get batteries, cat and dog food. I think I even put chicken feed into that because it was a Tractor Supply. I think I included that in our groceries because we just go there to get chicken food. I don't know if you need socks. We get socks and underwear at Walmart. Just like all those little things. It was $1,500. So we're a family of 5. We do all the things, like we hand down all the clothes. We have 3 boys, so we hand down clothes. Can't really hand down shoes. Shoes just get too beat up and stuff. But we hand down stuff. We're pretty frugal, but I could probably be better, but especially on the meal plan. So we decided on $1,200 a month for food and toiletries and household items, and that's going to be a cash envelope, and we are just going to $600 per pay period, right? We're splitting that in half to fill those cash envelopes out of each paycheck. So I'm just going to write that in just because I have some open lines here for my cash envelopes. So we're going to say groceries / household items, 600. So it's going to be a cash withdrawal. And then for gas, so luckily I'm very happy. My husband, when the last time they switched his positions at his company, they let him drive the work truck because he's always going on site to places. So they did say that he could just have drive the truck, for work related, so he can have it at our house and he can drive it straight to the site and drive home. He has to go to the shop to get tools and stuff sometimes, but they give him a gas card, so to do that. And that's the main. I do all the personal running around errands. Like, I do the grocery runs and the doctor's appointments and taking the kids to play dates in parks or whatever. So that doesn't cost all that much because I stay pretty local. So, and I know that I live in South Carolina, so gas here is cheaper. It's less, tax than like it is like on the West Coast and stuff. So he basically had next to no gas expenditures for himself. For his vehicles, it was all my vehicle, which was $175 basically for the whole month of April. And so I'm going to just pull out $75 out of this paycheck. So, and then here's the next pay period. We will do groceries and house, $600. I might take out the rest of that. Gas, that's $100. And this is when I'm going to take out any fun money for the month, $50. So the kids, it's usually spent on doing stuff as a family or taking the kids somewhere. So those are all cash withdrawal. Okay, I'm just going to give myself a little, like I said, if there was other things that came up that I knew ahead of time that we needed to buy that were going to be more than like the fun money would cover, or if it's sometimes you need to get like a birthday present for somebody, or the kids are like growing out of all their pants. Like Everett is growing like a weed. Like we keep having to buy him new clothes. I'm serious. Like I bought him, his birthday was in March, and I went and bought him all types of clothes in March. It is May. We've already had to buy him all new pants. And a couple shirts. Like I think that the shirts like shrunk. But yeah. So I will probably have a clothing cash envelope as well at some point. I just don't have it right now. I'm just not bringing it this month. Okay. And when we get paid on Friday and we go get cash out, if you let me know, and if you like budgeting videos and you'd like to see me go through this with me, I'll be doing my cash envelopes on Friday. And if you want to see that, just leave me a comment. Say, yeah, I love budgeting, like more budgeting videos, and we can follow along. And if you want to see me try to get out of debt and budgeting for homeschool expenses like her curriculum, I know we have got co-op fees coming up soon, like field trips or anything like that. Which I tend not to do field trips. I don't know. It's just so extra. I'm like, oh no, we just go places when we feel like it. I just don't want to like plan. I don't like planning field trips. It's like not my jam at all. Okay. So this in itself would get you pretty far with your budgeting goals, I think. But now I'm going to print out my zero-based budget. All right. There's a bunch of these. So it says this is for the month. You could do your whole month. I think I'm actually going to use these paycheck by paycheck because that just works out. It's just easier for me not to get confused. So for the month of, let me zoom in just a little bit so you can see what I'm working on here. So I'm still working on May. I'm in my May 2024. Okay, paycheck 2. And my checking balance is 0. Oh. I need to fix this. We're like missing a line. I'll fix that in my document today. So he's going to get paid on the 5/10 23/20. And there's a couple extra lines if there's other income coming in. And like I said, if we do get more income this month from like Etsy sales or his commissions, then I can go back and record those. That's why I always do everything in pencil. But like I said, for beginning of the month, just like for budgeting purposes, I'm just going with our bare bones just to make sure everything can actually be covered off of the least amount of money in case extra money doesn't appear, right? All right, so that means that's my total for right now. My out says my income, and my outgo is, I'm gonna make myself also paycheck. I'm gonna calculate out my paycheck to expenses. Okay, so my city, water, and garbage, I actually know what that's gonna be because I got the bill. I just haven't paid it yet. It's actually $126.73. My tithe is gonna come out. That's always the same. My Duke Energy, let me look it up. This one, it's actually $206.02. So that's $526.68. That needs to stay in checking because so I can pay online. $526.68. And I'm gonna say plus, because this has got to stay in. I've got $750 in cash that I need to pull out. Does that make sense? And I don't have any debt payments or extra debt payments, so that I have budgeted for right now. So $23.20 minus $526.68 minus $750 leaves me with $10.43. But hold on, I'm just gonna write that number down for myself. $10.43.32, because this is where I was like saying it gets a little tricky, because I typically, our base salary paycheck doesn't cover all the expenses at the beginning of the month. So I have to make sure I leave a certain amount in our checking account and don't touch it, so it can carry forward to the next pay period to cover all those big payments that are coming out at the first. So the question is like, how much do I need to leave in there? So the answer is, I just need to add up, right, what this is, and find the difference with our paycheck to know what I need to keep, what I need to hold back. Okay, so let's do just this part. So we've got $10.65. I know gas isn't going to be that much this month. How much was gas last month? Let me check. Let's call that, we're going to call it 120. If I always try to estimate high. Plus $3, plus $30, plus $90. I will round up on expenses, but never on income, right? Okay, so $24.57.18 in hard costs. Plus, I want to take $675 out in cash. So that puts me at $31.32.18. So what do I need to do? With that information, I need to take out how much we're going to get paid. This is going to be July 2024 paycheck 1, right? I'm expecting the same income. Okay, let's find the difference. Minus 23.20. So I need to have at least $812.18 in there to make sure I have enough money, which is good because I had a little over $1,000 left over from the paycheck before. So I'm probably actually going to do is I'm going to want to have a starting balance of $900. I'm just going to round up a little bit. I just like to give myself a little cushion. You never know. Sometimes something weird comes through. Sometimes you leave your cash at home for some reason. You have to put it on your debit card, right? Something like that. So if I want $900 left over, I have to subtract 900 from, right, this. So that means for savings, I'm going to put, because we're on that baby step where we're building up savings. 143.32 into savings, leaving me a nice round, actually 900. I'm not going to zero out this paycheck. Right? And then that is going up here to my beginning balance. Okay. So they'll give me a total, income, right? What I have to work with of 30,220. Expenses were 31, 30,218. So that means I will do an extra, it's not going to be debt. I'm actually going to put it to savings of 87.82. I'll put that in my savings account, and then I will be back to a balance of 0. That's just paycheck 1 for June or July. Let's move on to paycheck 2. I'm just finishing out June and doing July for today. July 2024 paycheck 2. So my beginning balance is that 0. Income 23.20. Oh yeah, when did I say? And when I get these paychecks, I always come over here and I like check them off or cross them off or whatever. So that one was coming in on 5/24. This one's coming in on 6/7. And then I may just, I do like just to keep an eye on. So this one is coming in on 5/24 right here, right? But I would have already taken this cash out in paycheck 2. This is not part of the cash out for paycheck 1. This is paycheck 1. I have to remember what, time frame I'm in. So I do like to keep an eye on my pay date, not to confuse myself, right? So my expenses out of paycheck 2 are going to be the same, correct? So then this would be August paycheck 1. Okay, I'm not going to fill those out. I'm just going to do these 3 paychecks right now. Because one, I'm reassessing my budget, and I'll be checking our statements, and I'm see if there's anything that snuck up on me. Every once in a while, it'll hit something like an annual charge, right? And I'm not the best at remembering when that stuff is. I should write that down on here, right? I should have, like on the back, I should be noting down like annual charges. Like I know that I have a membership to like an outdoor space you can go to, and it's like $144 a year, and I pay it once a year, and I believe it's in April. So I should be checking that, but I'll be kind of just looking for that to come up as over the next few months. Just make sure I'm not like missing stuff. The other thing that I am keeping in mind here is that there is the possibility for additional income to come in through larger paychecks. So it would always be on my husband's second paycheck. So these paychecks might be actually a little bit bigger because if he earns any commissions, it's going to be on that paycheck. He may have a reimbursement check. So every once in a while, when he's out working, like what if he takes some a customer out to lunch, or he has to buy a tool or something, which happens. I actually need to think that through a little bit. We need to have him have his own cash envelope for those work expenses, because then he turns in a reimbursement report and he gets reimbursed, but we have to front that cost. So I'll just see how that shakes out at the next few months as I'm working on my budget to see what we need to do for his, work expenses envelope. But he's really got to pay with that stuff in cash, because you see the way this budget works, right? It's like zeroes out, and he can't just I don't want it just charging on the credit card. And then we actually get charged interest on those charges, right? That we don't get reimbursed for interest. Anyways, we'll see how that issue comes up and how we deal with it. What we decide the best thing to do is, I think the best thing to do is just to have a cash envelope for him. I just need to know how much that needs to be at any one time. It probably needs to be, I'm just thinking like $200, it's really easy to take a couple guys out to lunch and spend $100, and then still maybe want $100 to be able to, even though he's going to be packing more snacks and like drinks and things with him in the morning to take with, he may still, there may be times he needs to buy, something on the road, whatever. I want to just make sure he feels comfortable getting what he needs to get. So that'll be something. We'll figure out how this goes. It's kind of nice if you do get a commission and you have some extra money in your budget that maybe you would put into savings or something. That's probably, if he has commissions on his paycheck, I'm probably just going to pull out, so it's like, let's just pull some extra cash out and make you a work expense cash envelope. And the way cash envelopes work, if you're new, if you've never heard of that or whatever, you don't pull out, let's say my grocery bill is my grocery cash envelope, I want it to be at $600 at the beginning of each pay period. But if I only spend $500 before we get paid again, I don't put in another $600, right? And now I have I just put in $500 to bring it back up to $600. And then the $100 that I've saved by meal planning and being frugal can go towards either our savings account or our debt snowball, or if there's an unexpected, expense that comes up, I need to make a new cash envelope, like the kids, like let's start the kids' clothing fund, and then we'll start putting money in that until whatever amount we decide we need to just like keep in there. We probably also need to keep like copay, medical, dental, like copays need to have their own envelope. There needs to be like a hairdresser envelope for me. Although you can't tell. I was like, I spend so much money on my hair and you can't tell. Like, I don't know. But honestly, it looks better than it would if I didn't go. I swear, my hair is like the bane of my existence. Especially down here in the humidity. My goodness. Okay, the only other thing I was going to show you. Okay, so I've got my paycheck schedule, our hard and soft costs mapped out. I've mapped out the next 3 paychecks. I need to fill out a new password tracker because my other one was just all, every once in a while you have to update this, but I'll do that privately. And then I was going to show you guys my meal plan because I've done meal planning videos before and some people like them. So I'm going to show you our current meal plan. So for snacks on hand, I like to keep pistachios or almonds, jerky, apples and peanut butter, boiled eggs, string cheese or cottage cheese. I said whatever, and popcorn. For breakfast, I like to rotate, almond flour pancakes, oatmeal, eggs and toast, almond flour pancakes, toast with peanut butter, banana, oatmeal. And then on Sundays, it's nice to make French toast with whipped cream and berries. I do try to just have just berries without, if you have whipped cream, there's already sugar in that. And your bread has got sugar in it. We've completely switched over to entirely sourdough, so I feel a little bit health-wise better about that. The basic plan for our lunches is leftovers, is to just always be eating leftovers from the night before. Sometimes you have leftovers for like multiple nights, and you're like, this is your leftover buffet, what do you want? If the kids sometimes they give me a hard time about not wanting leftovers, I'm like, okay, they can have a peanut butter and jelly or like a tuna sandwich. I do keep like cans of tuna, right? And we might have peanut butter and honey. Sometimes I just don't re-buy jelly. I'm just like, we have honey. I don't know why we need jelly or jam or whatever. And then my husband should be taking leftovers for lunches and stuff. If he wants to buy his own snacks to keep in the car, like I like to send him with bags of jerky. I'm like, just keep this in your car. I know you're going to eat it this week, eat protein. Don't stop and drink a bunch of sugary drinks for energy. Just like eat some beef. Okay, so dinner. We all like beef stew. So beef stew this week, chicken and salad. I love a good salad with like a protein on it. And I did wrote cucumbers for Bo. He will not eat salad. It just is such a headache. But he does love cucumbers, so I'll slice down some cucumbers. Baked cod and asparagus. Steak salad. See, this is the thing. Steak is, I know that sounds expensive, and it kind of is. And I can always believe me, I have red beans and rice in my pantry. Like, if we get a really rough month, we are eating red beans and rice. But this is my ideal meal plan, right? Steak salad. But it's not as expensive when you put, if you use meat, if you don't like be like in your mind, like I have to eat a giant slab of it. But if you put it on top of a salad with some like beautiful tomatoes and red onion and some feta cheese and some balsamic vinegar and a little olive oil, salt and pepper, just dress it. It's like, chef's kiss. Okay. Chicken, sausage, and cabbage. I love just frying that stuff up, sauteing that cabbage and those, slicing up the sausages. And then butternut squash burritos. I love making butternut squash burritos. You can use, ground. I add ground beef to that. It's not like vegetarian. I just have a bunch of other yummy stuff in it. And it usually makes a ton of leftovers too. So we can have burritos for like, at least another day or two. That's, my current. I do like put I don't know if I've ever made cod, but I wanted to start working in more fish in our diet. So I was like, I'm trying this one. So I have a little recipe, and I do have my beef stew recipe just stapled on there, and this just goes on my refrigerator. Yeah, I hope that was helpful. If you needed inspiration to get budgeting, again, I'll link to Dave Ramsey in the description box. If you want to see more budgeting videos, then leave me a comment and let me know, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.